Thank you everyone who has joined us for the webinar. Before I dive into the software itself, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to set the scene for our demo and the workflow we will be following. So I'm going to play a role of an employee for a fictitious company called Parka Energy Services. Parka's fictitious customer is Cirrus Oil. And both of these companies are in the energy sector and have a global reach. And they both have a master service agreement with each other. Parka sends field personnel to conduct services at Cirrus's well sites, which are often remote and lack good internet service. And I work for Parka Energy Services in varying roles. So having said that, this role starts as a salesperson, where in our back office application, I'll be creating quotes by accessing price book. And next, the data that I entered at the quote level will seamlessly flow to a field manager where they'll be setting up jobs and scheduling and dispatching equipment and field personnel to the field. Then the data flows to our mobile application. This is where the field tech completely disconnected from the internet picks up a tablet or a field laptop to complete e-forms, fill out daily tickets, and get electronic signatures. Then finally, the data seamlessly flows back to the back office application for somebody in the accounting team to finish out the process by reviewing field tickets and creating invoice. Again, I'll be playing each of these roles as I guide you through our system. Having said that, let's log in to our software. As a salesperson, when I log into our system, I am greeted by a dashboard with useful reports that are tailored to my needs. Using dashboards, I can monitor my day-to-day activities and trends all on one screen. So the most important information is front and centered. Everyone can configure their own dashboards to fit their needs. So if you have 10 or 20 or more salespeople, they can create their own reports and dashboards. Some of these reports are going to be very useful to me. For example, I can look at my performance by month or quarter. I can look at bid won versus loss. And on more financial side of things, I can look at average gross margin for my quotes. Again, this capability for reporting helps me have more visibility and accountability. And as you can see, it's super user-friendly and easy on the eyes. So this morning, I received a call from Cirrus Oil, and they want me to send them a quote for one of their wells that needs a workover service. To do that, I'll create a quote in our system. This is where our software uses a unique price book management to bring together a price book that is tailored to your customer, to your location, and your business segment. In this case, we are using the price book Cirrus Houston Price Book 2020. This is because Parka has an MSA with Cirrus, as I mentioned to you all earlier, and Parka works for Cirrus around the world. So here we have selected a customer and a location-specific price book. As Justin mentioned earlier about the four-way match, this is where it starts. Next, I'm going to add more details regarding this quote.
And you'll see at the top side where Alip is entering in the vertical depth and the measured depth. Here we can provide a guidance for success to our salespeople in that they're answering basic questions about the conditions of the well site. And based on the information and the answers that Alip is putting in there, it's automatically driving items onto the quote for him without having to go into the price book and manually figure out what to add.
Thanks, Justin. Next I do here is add more items to the quote. So this could be equipment, it could be services, it could be labor or mileage. I also have the capability to create a parent-child relationship between line items. And I can also create bundles and packages. This further ensures that I don't leave out items that are frequently quoted with other items. On a second note, I can also calculate gross margins at the quote level and thresholds to prevent myself from quoting a price that I'm not supposed to. The color indicates whether I'm exceeding my limit to discount an item and if this item is going to be generating revenue.
And we know that the salespeople out there are very close to your customers, and this allows the management to place guardrails so that the brother-in-law isn't getting some sort of special discount from a particular sales rep. And if they are, it can go through a specific approval process if the margins are below a certain KPI.
Exactly. My sales manager can also set hard limits on discounting and require approval for large discounts. You can tailor these thresholds to better reflect your company's needs. So for example, if I go ahead and put in a 25% discount, then the system will tell me that this is not valid and I need to seek approval from my manager. As you can see, one of the line item is already in red, which means that the price that was quoted is way too low. So we can move this towards making it more positive. That way, the quote will be approved by management. Once all the items are added to the quote, my next step is to generate a customer-facing document to my customer Cirrus. For this, I'll go to the next tab titled Generate Proposal. As you can see, everything I quoted is beautifully presented on a nice PDF form with my company's branding. I'm going to go over it one more time, and if everything looks good, I'm going to sign my name at the bottom as a representative of Parka Energy Services. So this could be using a trackpad on your laptop or a mouse or DocuSign. You can have these signed. Now I'll send this to my customer for an approval and get their signatures. Again, so far we have seen in FieldFX is the ability for reporting and creating dashboards. We also saw how easy it is to create a quote with a price book that is concise, no matter the complexity of pricing. So I heard back from Cirrus and they have given Parka a green light to go ahead and the bid is won. Now that the quote has been won, I'm going to switch my role to an operations manager at Parka Energy Services. So switching my role, I log in somebody in operations and I'm greeted here by a different dashboard. Our persona-specific security model allows operations to focus on what is important to them. In this case, I'm observing crew and equipment utilization and billable versus non-billable time. I'm looking at job costs. I'm also looking at number of corrected tickets by office. So our next step here, once I am caught up with my day, is to start a job. As you can see here, the data I entered at the quote does not need to be entered again. This helps me prevent double entry, which means the system ensures that mistakes are not being made. I can drill into this job and see details and see who the customer is on the left, see which price book it's coming from, and I can also get a visual into the quote, the PO, the totals, and location and scheduling data. You'll also notice on the right that we have qualification requirements, crew planning. We also can look into open tickets or closed tickets or the job history. I can quickly access all of this information by just being on a single screen. When I have created a job or a work order for my customer, the next step is to schedule these jobs. And in my role, I'm scheduling multiple jobs, right? I'm not only focused on one job. For this, I'll switch to our schedule and dispatch module. And what you're seeing here is a calendar view on the left and crew and equipment on the right. When I select the job that I want to schedule, you'll notice that both the crew and equipment are filtered by availability and job requirements, such as qualification or certification. I can color code my employees or equipment based on utilization or any other detail. This is reflected by the color red, yellow, and green. Red means that this person is over their weekly time limit, and yellow is approaching overtime, and green is safe to schedule. Having conditional formatting definitely helps me be more mindful of Parka's bottom line. Again, our system is very user-friendly, and all it takes to assign somebody to a job is to drag them to a job box on the calendar. Just like that. And I can do the same for any equipment I want to schedule. When a person is assigned they can be notified via an email of the job.
We also know that a lot of times you may not know exactly who or what equipment is going to be assigned to the job, but you know that you might need, for example, an equipment operator for a specific time period. This might help you drive demand forecasting to know how many people you might need for a given week. And in this example, you'll see that Alif has an equipment operator that's highlighted in red for his Sears Well service job. It's highlighted in red because it doesn't have a person assigned to it. We know we need an equipment operator, but we don't have the knowledge of which one is going to be working on it. As soon as Alif drags and drops the person onto that placeholder, automatically the placeholder is colored green, indicating that we're good to go to proceed.
Thanks, Justin. Again, so far we have seen how easy it is to create a job, and using our schedule and dispatch module, we can better allocate our resources and make sure that people who show up on the well site are qualified and available to do the work. So next, I'll switch my role at Parka Energy again, and now I'm going to put my hard hat on and go out in the field. From this point forward in mobile, everything I'm going to show you can be completely offline, disconnected from the internet. Also, our application is device agnostic, which means that it can be used on any device, whether it's a field laptop or a tablet. When I see an email for my job assignment, I first open my mobile application and look at the jobs that have been assigned to me in the Jobs tab. As you can see, I've been only assigned one job, and I'll go dig into it further. You can see that price book and quote are pulled through from the back office, which guarantees you data consistency, which also means no missing items. So the first thing I do when I get on customer's well site is fill out a JSA. And in our Forms tab, this could be not only be a JSA, but it could also be an inspection form of any sort. So I'll fill out the form using these simple toggle switches that there might be some potential hazards or PPE that might be required for this particular case. And then I'll pass my tablet around in the circle for people to sign into this particular JSA, seeing that everybody has seen it. So for this example, I'm going to just put in Justin, who's with Cirrus, and he's on the well side as well, and I'm going to have him sign this. So once everything is completed, I'll generate a report. This is, again, a very nice customer-facing report that can be generated on a PDF, and we are capturing signatures offline, disconnected from the internet, on a tablet or a laptop. And this could be done by touching your screen or your mouse or your trackpad. So I'll go ahead and add this to the job packet. And when I'm done for the day, the final thing I do is create a ticket and get it signed from the customer. So I'll go back to the job, go into the ticket, and in this case, my ticket has already been created for me by my field supervisor in the back office. The only thing I have to do is to ensure here that I can get my geolocation so I can show Cirrus a proof of delivery. So making sure that the geolocation is correct. Okay. And everything looks good. So next, I'll go ahead and add the items to the ticket. As you can see, all the quoted items from the quote I can have a visual in it. This means that, again, I am not forgetting what was quoted or at what price the item was quoted. This prevents revenue leakage by leaving items out of the quote. Along with the price book and the quote, this creates a third-way match for our going towards our four-way match.
And we also understand that a lot of times when your crew is out on site, the company man comes up and says, "Hey guys, while you're here, can you go ahead and do XYZ for us while you're on our well site?" A lot of times the technician would have to create a whole new ticket and go through that entire process again. But here, Alif has access to the price book offline and away from the internet, so he can add an item from the contracted pricing, even if it wasn't quoted originally by the salesperson.
Thanks, Justin. So I can add an item, like Justin mentioned, to the ticket. Next, in the ticket log, I'll go ahead and add relevant information because there were some NPT that happened while I was in the field. So I want to make sure that the management knows what took place. To do that, adding log is pretty simple. I can go into the NPT tab, check the location that I am at. Again, I have different options, what it was caused by. I can go into particular issue and the details that I can further add. I can also add comments to this particular NPT log. After that, I add it to the ticket itself, and from there, I can have it signed by the customer. And for this, we have several options.
So in this example, you'll see that when the company man is not on site, and this happens all the time, right? So the waiter's on their way to the table, and the company man's stepping out to use the restroom. You're sending runners out to chase these guys down. In this example, we could send this, for example, to FX customer self-service to allow the company man to log in and sign this ticket at their discretion. Or if we wanted to, we could request an internal approval prior to getting that ticket signed in case we want to, for example, ensure that everything is accurate before signature.
Thanks, Justin. And the second way to do this is I can create a report out in the field. So as you can see, everything flows to a customer-facing PDF, so I can get it signed by Cirrus. I can also get it stamped. So I can choose the stamp that I want to add, or in case if you have a tablet, just take a picture of it, and then I'll hand the tablet over to the customer Cirrus, and they'll have it signed, and then I can sign it myself, and there you go. The ticket has been signed and completed and added to the job packet. So finally, when I am connected to the internet, either back in the hotel that I'm staying for the night or just at a restaurant having dinner, I can sync this all up back to the back office. So in the field, as long as I have permissions from management, I can quote, create a job or a ticket, and add items from either the quote or the price book without ever having the need to connect to the internet. So next, I will change my persona for the final time. Now, next morning, I'm working at Parka Energy as an somebody in accounting. So when I log into accounting, I am, again, greeted by a different dashboard that is more relevant to me. So first thing I do is go and see all the signed tickets. I'll drill into a ticket and see everything for accuracy. Once I approve it, I'll go into the invoicing tab. So we'll do an approval here and then go into invoicing. This is where I'm going to create an invoice for Cirrus Oil. I can get as flexible as I want here with being able to not only invoice few items from a ticket, but also I can split tickets, or I also have the capability of aggregating tickets. Once I determine the items I want to add to the invoice, the system automatically applies the four-way match. As you can see, the pricing flows from price book to the quote, to the ticket, and to the invoice, giving us a match validation. The green dots validate that we have a match and everything looks good. So from here, you can send this invoice out to your ERP, or you can send it directly to a customer in a PDF form. So this concludes the demo.